The Pittsburgh Steelers will not be in the Super Bowl this year. Super Bowl LIX, Lynx. What are you saying? Lynx?
I'm not saying it because it's a Roman numeral, but sure, go off, King.
It should have a name. Super Bowl Lynx. But they will have a former player win the whole thing, no matter what, which is one of the most depressing things you could possibly have happen as an organization, especially when two of them are your former starting quarterbacks. One of them's your former second-round pick. And other guys are just, some of them were former starters. Some of them were here for 3 days. Some of them got hurt the first day of training camp. Some of them should have been on your practice squad this year, but instead you just decided, now we're good. I'm going to name them off by team. Let's decide who we want to win the Super Bowl. We'll create your Pittsburgh Steelers rooting guide here based on former players. With Kansas City, the obvious one is Juju Smith-Schuster. He's already got one, caught a game-winning Super Bowl touchdown. What was that, 2 years ago now? And 3 years ago now? And he's now back with Kansas City, a name that, people said the Steelers should have signed. He went to Kansas City. He had one hell of a game. I don't think he did anything after that, but he's here. He's in the playoffs, AFC Championship once again. Kansas City also has Darius Rush, the guy that should have been the Steelers' breakout corner in 2025, 2024. Didn't happen. And good old Steven Nelson, man, who, if you were in this for Juju and you were in this for Darius Rush, you might be out of it because of Steven Nelson and the things he said over the years about the Pittsburgh Steelers. In Washington, these are the biggest bangers that we've got here. Michael Walker, former Pittsburgh Steelers savior at inside linebacker, a coverage guy that, he tried. He did his best in a defense that was banged up, my friend. And Jeremy McNichols, who I remember the Pittsburgh Steelers signing. I interviewed him the opening day of training camp. I said, "Are you excited to be here?" It was me and him. We were talking 5 minutes. He seemed like a really nice guy. And then that afternoon, he broke his shoulder and never played again for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It was a tragedy. And then you got the bangers, my friend. In Buffalo, good old Mitch Trubisky. And in Philadelphia, good old Kenny Pickett. Man, oh man, what a list we've got. I'll let you go first. Who are you rooting for?
I feel like everybody in Pittsburgh is going to choose to root for Kenny Pickett, right? Like everybody in Pittsburgh wants to see Kenny Pickett succeed. I haven't heard anything to the contrary since he left the city. I thought everybody wanted him to succeed.
Even when he was in the city, even at the end and before, the whole time, actually. Biggest fans of Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, basically since he got drafted, since he put on a Steelers hat. So you know what? I would be surprised if everybody else isn't going for Kenny. So for that reason, I'll go a different direction here. And honestly,
good call.
Let's see Jeremy McNichols do it. I want to see Jeremy McNichols and Michael Walker. Let's go Washington. Not just because it's local to me, because it is, but because why not go with the guy that was on the Steelers for a handful of minutes, right? Why not go with the guy that probably would not have lasted in backs on backers if his shoulder blew up in the first day of training camp? So you know what? Shout out Jeremy McNichols. He's a fun player. That's a fun offense. I'd say if you're rooting for a former Steeler, you're rooting for that one, because not only because he's just on a team that's more likable, but secondly, because he didn't hurt the Steelers really at all. You go to Mitch, he did some damage to the Steelers for a couple of years. You go to Kenny, he did some damage to the Steelers for a little bit. You go to Juju unjustly, but I think there's people that would say that he did some damage. Yeah, he did have a couple big fumbles, so he did some damage. Yeah. Jeremy McNichols didn't do very much damage at all. Michael Walker is on the
lots of damage.
So
let's not act like it wasn't a ridiculous amount of damage there.
But he's on the practice squad in Washington. So you know what? I'm willing to look past that. I'm saying Commanders.
All right, football fans, things are getting real. Whether your team has made it to the conference championship or not, there's still plenty of ways to enjoy the games. Get in on the action right now with my partners at DraftKings Sportsbooks. They're offering all new customers $200 in bonus bets instantly by just betting $5. Don't let this slip away. Download the DraftKings app now and sign up using our code ALLSteelers. the crown is yours. Stay in on the action and use your $200 in bonus bets on DraftKings same game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together from the same game. Love the thrill of live betting? DraftKings has got you covered. Bet live in-game progress right as they are happening, making watching the games that much more exciting. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy and have the shot to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use my promo code ALLSTEELERS and bet just $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code ALLSTEELERS only at DraftKings Sportsbook. All right. I like Commanders, although I don't ever expect a rookie quarterback to win a Super Bowl. That's like my motto.
No, it'd be crazy.
It'd be crazy. I'm not saying it can't happen, and I'm not saying I'm not rooting for them. It would be awesome. But man, dude, I'm going to be biased on this, okay? I'm be really biased. The Bills piss me off. I don't know why, but the Bills are the team that I watch, and I go, even against Baltimore, I was watching them just going like, I don't know what it is, man, but I don't like you guys. You guys bother me. I don't want to root for you. But Mitch was a good guy, dude. Mitch was a good guy. Mitch was super friendly. He was always there to answer questions and to just have a conversation with. He was very respectful right up until the end. He always knew what to say, but he genuinely meant it. And he wanted to help you do your job while you helped him do his. And that was huge. Plus, he wore a visor his second season. It was super badass. I thought that was sick. And the third one here is very easy. If you could take a punch from Deontay Johnson mid-game, get benched, and re-sign to say, hey, I'm going to stick around for another year with a lower cap hit, you're committed. You're here. You are part of this. You believe in the Pittsburgh Steelers. And because of that, I believe in you, my friend. I'm going Mitch Trubisky. I think I'm rooting for Mitch and the Bills here. It stinks. I don't want to, but I don't have faith in Washington, and the other two would just suck. That would not be fun. I'm from the other side of the state. If you're not a Steelers fan, you are an Eagles fan, and nobody's worse than Eagles fans. So I'm going, it's got to be Mitch. I'm going Mitch.
Here's the one thing I will say in support of the Eagles.
Oof.
Saquon Barkley deserves a championship.
Yeah, that's true. Saquon's my guy, man.
That's the one thing.
It's true. I can't deny that. And if he got there, I could overlook it. I'd overlook it now. I could care less about these former Pittsburgh Steelers winning Super Bowls, but I could overlook the Kenny part for the Saquon.
Now, I am curious about one thing. Is Chris Oladokun no longer on the Chiefs?
Oh, and former Pittsburgh Steelers /
Super Bowl champion
Chris Oladokun. Shout out. Reminds me of the time Florio called one of our stories out and said, they're calling Chris Oladokun Super Bowl champion. Yeah, pal. Look at the ring. Right on the finger. Huge. Giant. Yeah, shout out Chris Oladokun. That would be the only justice. I'd be very okay if at the end of it, in 30 years from now, when they make a 30 for 30 on the Pittsburgh Steelers trying to find the next Ben Roethlisberger, I just hope that they mention multi-time Super Bowl champion Chris Oladokun. That's all I hope. That's all I hope I have some say, and I'll bring it up.
I was so happy, and again, very quick aside, I was so happy this preseason. I was down in South Carolina. I was at a sports bar, and I looked up and I said, oh, there's a preseason football game on. And don't you know, it was Chris Oladokun in the game for the Kansas City Chiefs against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I said, you know what? I know we had plans, but I need to sit down and watch a couple of these drives. And you know what? They were mostly 3 and outs, but you can't take that ring away from them.
Doesn't matter, dude. That ring, shit. I don't have a ring. You don't have a ring.
Yeah, no.
Steelers haven't had a ring in a long time. Chris Oladokun, buddy. Right there. and it's probably big, flashy, and glamorous, and he might get another one. Chris Oladokun would make it okay for the Chiefs, but I'm still not. Chiefs are last on this list, and a significant gap between them and anybody else, if we're going to be honest.